That intro is about the most exciting thing you will see today. This is another in the series of Mike began drinking at 7 o'clock in the morning and decided to do a podcast after all the post-game shows were over series. So today we've got a panel of 4. So far, we may end moving people in and moving people out, but we got me. We've got podcast legend Dan Potts. Dan, thanks for joining us again for the second time this week.
Yeah, man, you're welcome, man. You're welcome. It's do you know what makes me laugh? Mike says to me, "I never do a podcast when we win. If we don't win, what are we doing? We don't win. Mike's straight on it."
Well, look. I'm kind of the one of many things I have common with Pierre Emerick Aubameyang is that I don't like to talk a lot after we lose. I love talking and chirping after we win, but I'm trying to break out of that shell. And you know what helps? What helps with that is a little bit of the bubbly. So I've just spent about an hour on the Bearded Gooners channel talking about the game, and while I don't think we resolved anything, I'm at least coping with it now. So Dan, I watched the game with you. It'll be interesting to talk to you now about our thoughts. Also joining us today, for the first time, I don't know if you've been on a pod before, but we certainly interacted a lot. A man who went to the same uni as I did, HooGooner. Nice to finally put a face with the name. I've been talking to you for a couple of years, and you're a top Gooner, top UVA fan, and welcome to the pod.
It's been rough. It's been hard to deal with what we have, the ups and the downs over the last year.
You talking about Arsenal or UVA?
Both, to be honest with you. Like, my weekend gets ruined, so many times. I'm just getting in such a pissy ass mood. And I know that could be different over in the UK, but I just get in such a frustrated mood early in the mornings here, waking up with this, finishing your Saturday with college basketball or football or whatever. So
well, I probably won't make it that far. I don't know when we play today, when our college team plays today, but I will probably not make it that far. Colin Mutch from Mutch Arsenal, with that fashion statement kind of a hoodie going on there. I think our history over the last 3 or 4 years has been a bit bumpy, I think, but
what are you chatting, bro? Our history has been good, bro.
I don't know.
We're all good out here.
But this guy, I'm glad that you joined us today because your accent is one of my favorite ones in the world, man. It's absolute jokes. It's good. It's authentic, and man, you've got a very good opinion on Arsenal. You blocked me at one point, so I don't know what you're talking about. But
to be fair, mate, right? I was in a pissy mood back then, but I'm in a good mood now. I mean, granted, not so much today, but you get the point. You get the point.
Yeah,
I'm in a bad mood right now.
Being an Arsenal supporter is not a good thing for like emotional stability. Let's just say that to begin with, and
that's the truth.
That shit is bad for the brain. Is bad for the brain.
So I got no agenda today. It's really just kind of an open mic type of situation in the chat, and I've put out on Twitter. What I put out on Twitter was not the link to watch the show; it was the link to be on the show. So if you want to be on the show, click that link, and you may I'll put you on. But Dan, we watched the game together. It was lovely to see your dad, to listen to your mom. There's, like I said on the stream, on the Zoom, there's nothing that brings a family together better than hatred for one human being. And so tell us who that human being is, and what your thoughts are about him after this game. And as I bring in the one and the only Bulgarian Gooner. But Dan, tell us who your family bonds over at this point.
Oh, man. listen. My thoughts have not changed on this guy for 5 years now. And after today, it just proves to me that, unfortunately, I've been proven right yet again, that this guy has always got a mistake in him. And it doesn't matter how well he plays this season or how good he is under this manager, this guy sucks because he always makes a mistake every single season in 2 or 3 games. And for every 10 games he has that are great, he's always going to drop you points.
You're talking about Chambers, right?
And of course, I'm talking about Granit Xhaka. It doesn't matter how long you've got with this team, with Granit Xhaka in it, with David Luiz in it, with Cedric in it, with Bellerin in it, with Leno in it, with Lacazette missing chances. They all have errors in them. This team all have errors in them. What frustrates me is that people are shocked by it. Do you know what I mean? Like today, everyone's over Twitter saying, "Oh my God, what is Xhaka doing?" Xhaka's doing what Xhaka's been doing for the last 5 years. What have you all been watching? This is what Xhaka does. This is what Xhaka does every single season. Why are we shocked by this now? Why do we sit there and think it's out of character for him? And also, if we have got these donkeys at the back, why is the manager asking us to still play out like it and dick around with it at the back? These are the amount of chances that we have created and we've missed. You can talk about all day, but it doesn't matter because we were 1-0 up. And the reason that we didn't take 3 points is not because of the lack of chances that we missed. It was the donkey at the back who, again, has basically dropped points for us. So I see Cedric against Villa. I see Holden and Bellerin against City. I see missed chances. And now I see Xhaka. I see Luiz against Wolves. I'm just, who is it? Every week it's somebody that's going to make these errors for us. And you can blame the manager all you want. You can blame the players all you want. You can blame the way we played. You can blame the lack of missed chances. But this donkey has basically thrown away 2 points for us again today. And as much as I didn't see the game as a massive priority and my thoughts are on Thursday, it still winds you up because it gets boring. It is the same mistakes from the same individuals year in, year out. And it's been 5 years now with players like Granit Xhaka, Kolasinac, Mustafi, Bellerin, Holding. How many more of these donkeys are we going to have in our team before we need to upgrade them? And any time you say these players need upgrading, all I get told is, but they're good in the dressing room, but they're great around the team. But we need to keep hold of them because there's nobody else to play. Oh, please. We're 10th in the league.
Who talks like that? I mean, name names, but I agree with you. But a lot of the people you just mentioned have been cleared out of the club. Today, a statement was made on Hector Bellerin, I believe. I hope so too. I didn't feel it after last week where we didn't really know whether Bellerin had been rotated out or whether he was just being rested. Today, I think that it told us a lot because especially with Cedric not playing, for him not to get a game over Chambers tells you everything you need to know. Xhaka is another guy, and I guess we'll have to wait until the summer to find that out. Drago, Bulgarian Gooner for the second weekend in a row. Last week we were celebrating together. Now we're kind of commiserating together. I posted a tweet, which is probably a little too simplistic. Who's most to blame? And I should have said who's most to blame for the goal, not for the loss. But Xhaka, Arteta. Well, actually, I've just corrected myself because I said Xhaka, Arteta, other, and VAR non-handball. So I'm clearly not talking about that goal. I'm talking about the game overall. And as of right now, it's kind of split between Xhaka and the VAR non-handball. Give us your thoughts. Unmute yourself first, but give us your thoughts on kind of where you place the blame for these drop points.
So I have to be quick because supper is ready. Feel free to ban me to the waiting room after my assessment. So on the whole of the game, everything is to blame, I feel. We were in control, playing well, and then Xhaka does what Xhaka does. He can have the best game of his life, and one moment of stupidity costs points. For me, he was to blame for the goal in itself. He received the ball. He even looked before he passed it. What more can you say? The second half started slowly. No creativity for whatever reason. And it was a clear handball. I don't know what more we can say about it. Even Arteta was fuming, understandably so. Pepe missed a sitter, by the way, on a plate. Then they give a penalty for a shoulder. Absolute farce.
VAR worked in that instance. I hate to say it, but like VAR actually worked. The referee on the pitch made a very strong decision based on what he saw in that moment, and VAR worked. That was not a red ball. There was not a red ball. It was not a red. That's what we call it here in America. It was not a red card. It was not a penalty. It was not a handball. It was very, very bang, bang, quick, and he did what he did, and then it was overturned. Colin, why do we not see VAR do the same thing? And again, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we drop points because of this, or solely because of this. But why doesn't VAR take a look at the ball that Pepe's making an attempt at, but frankly bounces into the defender's arm from the ground?
I'll tell you why. Because the officials in this league are incompetent.
Incompetent or biased? What's your say on that?
Incompetent. There's no other way to explain it. Like, all right, the second decision, I can completely understand why that's ruled out. Doesn't hit his arm, hits his shoulder. Anything from below the shoulder is handball. Right? So I can see why that's like ruled out. Fair enough. But why is the first decision not looked at? Can anyone explain that to me? Off the top of my head, I can only see one reason. These fuckers are incompetent. It's as simple as that. You look at the Fulham game midweek. Are you seriously telling me that that's a handball?
Yeah, I mean that's been addressed with a rule. I mean, I know that there was always going to be a meeting to readdress the rules the next day, but like the irony of that entire concept of what happened with Fulham against Spurs resulting in a rule change the next day. Yet, I mean, HooGooner, I'm going to bring you into this conversation. The guy did not say, I'm blocking this cross coming in or the chance of this cross coming in from Pepe by sticking his arms out. However, he made himself larger. He intentionally or unintentionally affected the play by his arms being basically out in a T. And, you know, what is the point of defenders behind the goal putting their arms behind their back? I don't want to show you what I'm doing because it'll reveal just exactly how fat I am. But, like, putting their arms behind their back like that, you see guys doing that all the time out of a desire to not potentially give away an erroneous handball. What's the point of doing that if you can go like this and block a ball coming off of someone's foot and make yourself bigger? I mean, your thoughts on that? I mean,
honestly,
again, we're not arguing that we should have won the game if not for that. That's a kind of a lame excuse, but is there anyone that thinks that wasn't at least worth a VAR review?
Well, I mean, consistency, you know, like the guys mentioned and like everybody has mentioned before, nobody can define, you know, nobody can point to a situation and say, this was clearly a handball here, whereas it wasn't, because you look at Smith Rowe's handball that he got charged with a while back, and I think that was less blatant, that was less intentional than this one. Okay,
is that the Benfica one?
Yeah. Where
he's turning away from it, and yeah.
What was the difference between that one and the one today?
Distance. That's the distance is the only difference. But one is a guy going like this, and the other's a guy going like this.
But you would like clear instances and clear defined moments that you can point to say, hey, you know, you can look at this and you can go off of past handballs, past penalties, past fouls, and say, okay, you know, we're going to start defining what we're going to call as a handball and whatnot. Because lately, it just seems so random. You know, there's no like Colin was saying, there is no, they're crap. You know, and for an Arsenal fan, I kind of feel like they are a little bit biased. I mean, but, you know, I mainly only watch Arsenal. I mainly only watch our games. But if you look at the two different instances that there's really no difference. I don't know. I can't tell you watching a game right now what is going to be called a penalty, what's going to be called a handball, what's going to be a card. You know, it seems so random.
And I gotta say, before VAR, people would whine about referee calls going the wrong way and decisions going the wrong way, and I used to attack those people because normally, to me, it sounded like a way of excusing our poor performance. I mean, this is gonna ring true for today, but it sounded like a way of almost excusing our poor performance, excusing late stage Arsene Wenger's personnel decisions. And
you're right, Mike.
There's an extra layer now that's been added, and they're still getting it wrong.
So far, you know, people are talking about, oh, how unlucky we've been. Oh, how a couple different bounces of the balls here or there. You know, we could have a totally different season. We could have so many more points. We could be further up the table. But how many times over the last 10 years can we say that? How many times are we depending on luck? Are we depending on referees? Like you said, and I know that wasn't the premise of the question, but to me, it's like, okay, you know, every season, every team gets, you know, bad breaks here or there. We just seem to constantly been doing it. And like Dan says, you know, it's down to the quality of the players right now. You know, the players are allowing this stuff to come in. When I first started watching Arsenal, I loved them because, you know, it was the Invincibles. Man, that team. It was amazing watching them. It was amazing seeing football play like that. I'm sorry, guys.
Come on, man.
That is honestly when I started to follow and really get into football. And it amazed me how it reminded me of basketball here in America. You know, and those guys would never let anything like this dictate a game. They would take control. Yeah. And I was like, for a while there in the first half, I said, man, you know, we really have control of this game. We're really dominating Burnley. We're really coming on to them. You know, a couple more breaks. And I swear, as soon as it went through my head, as soon as that thought went through my head, Xhaka did what he did. So it's down to the players and the quality of them to step it up and say, hey, you know, we aren't going to let this happen. At certain times, I don't care if Arteta wants to play the ball at the back. Just boot it. Just get rid of it. Why are we even trying to play the ball around back there? You know, it's a lot of comical, nonsensical errors upon errors for the last 10 years. It's not luck anymore. Something's got to change.
Yeah, and I'm gonna throw it back to Dan. You know, Divion asks, you know, when you get around to it, if Arsenal and Burnley swap managers, who wins? That it's an interesting question, not just because I don't think his point is that Dyche is a better manager than Arteta necessarily, certainly more experienced, but maybe you think differently. But tactically speaking, and moving off of the VAR decisions a little bit, I mean, is there an experience level that you think would have changed the outcome here, Dan?
No, I don't think so. And everybody knows I'm not a huge fan of Mikel Arteta, and I don't think he's the right man for the job. I don't think we are in a position to have an inexperienced head because of what we've just been talking about. I think we need somebody in to be brutal and to bring some experience into this side because this is a terrible side. But I look at the situation with the swap of the managers, and I don't think that would have changed anything today because of what we've just spoken about. Some of the situations with VAR, some of the bad decisions, the fact that, you know, would Sean Dyche being in charge of Arsenal prevented Xhaka from being a donkey? No, because Xhaka has showed you what he is for 5 years. He's a donkey. So, you know, it doesn't matter who's managing him.
Is he pants?
He's pony, mate. He's pony.
He's pony. Is he at sixes and sevens, or is he pony or pants? I mean,
he's just all three, mate. He's just pony, pants, and at sixes and sevens, and he's diabolical. But as far as I'm concerned, managers wouldn't have changed anything today, man. And I'm not a huge fan of the manager. I didn't like some of his substitutions. I was a bit confused by the Thomas Partey situation. I imagine he'd come off for Thursday night. And I do believe that Thursday night is more important. I was a bit surprised that Ødegaard come off because I didn't think he was having a shocking game, albeit I didn't think he was having a fantastic game, but I thought there was other options.
I don't know. He's got 90 minutes in him, that guy. I mean, I think he's got about 65 minutes in him at this point. So,
well, maybe you're right, but I looked at the situation and I think positives. Callum Chambers got a good game inside him, and we haven't seen that for a long time now. Like you said, Mike, he hasn't had a bad game for about 6 months, Callum Chambers.
He has the foot wrong. I cannot remember an error that Colin Chambers made that led to a goal or a loss for us for like 6 months. It's impossible.
So for me, him coming into the team was a good thing. I was a bit surprised by that. I think, like you said, in terms of Bellerin, he's taking the piss. I love that from your boy there, man.
I did not teach him that. I think Lee Judges might have taught him that at the 12 pins about a year and a half ago. But you got to put that up there. Oh my gosh!
Yeah, man, I don't know.
This football club, man. I'll tell you, Drago. If you want to speak up again, come back on camera because I'm not gonna go to you if you're off camera. But Colin, man, what's your? I'm not sure that I've heard, unless I've completely ignored it or overlooked it. But your view on Arteta at the moment. We've got now 11 or 12 games left in this Premier League season, and obviously we've got a shot at the Europa League. Have you seen enough, or are you in the realm of people who think that like we need the summer before you can really make a decision?
Mate, I'm in neither camp. Put it that way. All right? Neither of those make any difference to me. Right? Here's where my mindset is, right? The decline has been on the cards, as far as Arsenal are concerned, for a long time. It's not just been this season. It's been a long time coming, right? Poor decisions at board level have led to this. Poor recruitment for years has led to this. The 16-17 window, people don't talk about that enough. Bringing in the likes of Xhaka, Mustafi, Lucas Perez, thinking that that's going to take us from.
We threw money at a problem, and we did it in the worst. Was that the same window when Chamberlain left? Because that was the only saving graves. If that's the same window, that was the only way that we actually saved.
No, Mike. That was the window following that one.
All right.
Right. That was the window following that. That window was even worse than that one. Because what we essentially did was we were looking at Jamie Vardy, we were looking at Kante, we were looking at Mahrez, and I hate going back to that, right? But it's a known fact that we were in for all three of those guys, right? Known fact at this point. You get them, we're probably going to challenge for the title, okay? And now I know the way Vardy went and like he went on the school trip that year, right? But odds are, if you get those three, you more than not would turn yourself into title contenders, right? But like I said, that's he said, she said bollocks, right? What we've done the last few years is recruited the worst players imaginable, and I'm not just talking about qualities in the player. I'm talking about the mentality as well as the player traits as well. I mean, yeah, all right.
You think that's still going on, or are we starting to turn that corner? Because if you look at some of our recent signings, Tierney, Gabriel, Partey,
we're starting to fix that, Mike. We are starting to fix that. The likes of Thomas Partey, the likes of Kieran Tierney, the likes of Gabriel. We are starting to fix that. I don't think you can put it down to poor recruitment this season. Willian's the only one where you can look at it and think, well, why was signing him? But that was down to Raul. That was down to Raul. We all know why we signed Willian. It was to do with like agent favors and whatnot, right?
We can bring the Jurgle on to talk more about that after the show.
But poor recruitment at this club has been the issue for a long time, right? Like Dan, I don't rate Granit Xhaka. I don't. That mistake, I'm just like,
Yeah.
So you expect
Can you do that again? Can you just make that sound for the next 5 minutes? Well,
why you're going to use that as a soundbite as well?
I would never do something like that. But
nah, come on, Mike, you know better than that, bro.
It's a good point.
You know what I mean, though. Like, I don't expect anything from these players anymore. I just don't like. Why is anyone shocked? Like That's what really
Great,
winds me
Colin.
up.
Colin, is it limited players or we've had 4 or 5 outs in the last 6 months, and there's a summer coming up. Do you think that the proper players are being dropped? And I guess it would involve some guesses about what the summer's going to be like. But do you think that the getting rid of the dead wood is happening, or that Arteta doesn't know who the dead wood is? Because I think January is a massive step forward in getting rid of some of the things that were causing us harm, and we couldn't get rid of all of it. And I mean, we talk about individual mistakes, but half of the people you just mentioned that we've known for years, and that Dan's mentioned, I think that we've known for years, are liable for individual mistakes, are off our team now, and they're making their individual mistakes for other teams.
Yeah,
and
exactly. That's the thing, Mike. We are starting to see that level of progression. Whether Arteta's the right man or not, I don't know. I'm not educated enough to make that decision. What I would say is the fact that we've gotten rid of Mustafi, we've gotten rid of Kolasinac. Those two are leading a rebellion at Schalke, bro. So
predictable.
So it's like, it's not like we didn't see this coming. We knew them two fuckers are cancer, bro. We knew this. Like, it's not news to anybody. But
it's news to some people who
it's news to some people, but not us. Put it that way, right?
Yeah.
Ozil, he was another one. We've shipped him off.
Well, he was the ringleader, in my opinion. But
exactly, we've shipped him off, right?
Drago,
Let's be real about it, Mike. Who's coming in for Granit Xhaka? Who?
No one between now and the end of the season.
Exactly.
But at the end of the season, what I'm looking at the end of the season is 2 things from Arteta. And it's not tactical. I mean, as usual, I focus on things that are not tactical because I don't understand a goddamn thing that is tactical, other than I finally understand that Pepe can't play in front of Bellerin. That much I understand after being dragged into that. The 2 things I want to see from a personnel standpoint over the summer, and Drago, I'm going to bring you in now. There's 2 guys that I think are signs of players that, and it's not Willian, interestingly enough, signs of guys that Arteta seems to really, really, really want to force into the starting 11. But at some point, he's just got to realize that we're not going to progress until he does, and that is Xhaka and Bellerin, in my mind. And this isn't about flaming those guys, but Drago, do you see Arteta making those changes and being as cutthroat as he needs to be? Because otherwise we're going into the next season with a lot of the same individual mistake-prone players. Can you imagine? I mean, can you see him making those upgrades?
I think it's possible at right back, because I'm about this rumor that last year Bellerin was wanted to leave, and Arteta said stay 1 year more. Next summer we will address it. I can see him going, and then we will probably bring in someone. And Xhaka, it's a weird one. Xhaka and Partey, I feel, are our best option as of now. Whether we will have funds to bring in Xhaka upgrade, I don't know. Bissouma, obviously, everyone wants him, but I don't know if we will have the funds to do that, because if Bellerin goes, we will address the right back situation. We have to address the number 10 situation, whether it's Odegaard or someone else. Ceballos loan is coming to an end. Is he going to be brought in permanently? There's rumors that Arteta wants another centre-back. Maybe Saliba is in his man. I don't know where the funds will go, and the striker situation as well. Laka in his final year. I can see him upgrading right back, to answer your question, but I think we are stuck with Xhaka as first choice for another season at least.
That's my fear, and I think that the connection with Xhaka and his supposed leadership and I mean, players and coaches in his career have sworn by him, on and off the pitch, and there's got to be something to that. Like Andy always says, my co-host, he always says, like there's a reason he's been named captain of 4 different teams, including Switzerland.
Listen,
I don't see it.
can deny for me, nobody can deny he does really good things. The thing he does, I don't think anyone in the squad can do. But when he messes up, it's so obvious. It takes away all the good work he does during the game. That's the disappointment with him.
I mean, I try to keep my errors in life to where it doesn't screw up in front of a lot of people. Although it's just not possible for these guys. We're going to do a bit of a change out here. Danny, I know you got to leave, buddy. Thanks for coming on. We're going to replace you with we've got someone in the waiting room that's waiting to come in your place. Dan, let us know where we can find you, and you're always a good friend to us. So thanks for coming on.
Man. No, I appreciate it. If anyone wants to come over to Same Old Arsenal on Monday nights, Mondays and Fridays, 7 p.m. UK time, then come and take a look at us. But thanks for having me on, Mike, and it's nice to meet you guys and chat some Arsenal. You take care.
You guys are doing well. You're getting an audience that's almost close to what ours is. So I think you should keep up the good work, and one day you'll make it.
We will, man. We will. You take care, buddy.
Love you, Dan. Say goodbye or say hi to your wife and your sister and your mother for me.
I will do, man. You take care. See you later, guys.
All right, brother.
Bye.
All right, so we're gonna bring in Dave. Dave from at Out Gooners. Welcome to the pod, buddy.
How's things, guys? Yeah, it should be Out and Out Gunners, but for some reason
Out and Out Gooners. Dave, yeah. We've met before. I want to get to this question that's been on our screen for a few minutes from I think it's probably from Sophie, could possibly be from Amanda, but Chambers gets a chance. Martinelli can't get a sniff even when we find a goal with a map and a compass. When we can't find a goal with a map and a compass, the Martinelli thing is kind of it. We don't want to make it a talking point, but it's just gotten to be the point where even in a game where we're chasing a goal to get a result, he's not being favored over other options. Dave, I mean, what's your view on Martinelli? And I mean, schminjury at this point, I would think. Why is he not even getting that 81st minute substitution?
I suppose today, I think I could see why Arteta wanted to. He decided to go with Ceballos as opposed to bringing Martinelli on. I think you can, if you're chasing a game or you're trying to get a winning goal, sometimes you can have too many forwards on and they're kind of getting in each other's way, you know. And if you can have all the forwards you want in the team, but if no one's getting the ball up to them, they're not much good to you either. But from a wider issue, I really don't know, to be honest. I thought he would have got more games at this stage. He ran. I think it was more random that he came on against Benfica when he came on. He didn't really do much and he didn't get too much of a chance against Benfica, but that seems to be about it. I think because Willian played well last week, he was always going to play this week. That was a given. It can't really be, as you say though, it can't really be injury anymore. I wish I could have more insight in this, but I really don't know. I don't know what he has to do. He's always going to be a guy that's going to give 100% in training. So you sometimes you could say, what are they like in training or what are they doing in training? But I don't think he's the type of a fella that's going to kind of do half measures. You know, he's kind of a 100% kind of guy. But I don't know what else he can do. It seems to be Arteta's kind of spending all his time on getting Willian right, and Martinelli seems to be going by the wayside.
Now Jake's mentioning that he's a game changer and he's shown it. He has shown it, but I do want to say that Jake may be somewhat biased because I know that Martinelli in the Gooners versus Cancer FIFA tournament that we had last summer, Jake used Martinelli to great effect on the left wing as a super sub, and they won him the tournament. So, you know, that was a video game though. So I'm just there's absolute handbags going on in Southampton and Sheffield right now. Absolute handbags. But you know, to bring it back to the Arsenal, he is a game changer though. In limited opportunities, he's the kind of guy that's shown me that literally, to call him a game changer, he could change a game. We needed to change the game today. we needed. I mean, it's hard to argue against our last 10 or 15 minutes. We put a lot of pressure on. We hit the post. We had block shots. So maybe Martinelli wouldn't have changed any of that. But it's too much at this point to say that it's just because of fitness. HooGooner, what are your views on Martinelli and where, like, over the last 12 games of this season and whatever we have left in the Europa League? I mean, are we going to see him again?
It's shocking because you think about how much he meant to our season last year and how much he galvanized us when he came in with the Chelsea game, and just that run, so reminiscent of the old Henry runs, to come down and just while we were down too. Does he have? Did he do something to Arteta? Does Arteta have a daughter or something, or a wife that he could have mistakenly hit on? I mean, I honestly can't figure it out, because what the hell does Willian do to warrant start after start or appearance after appearance? They talk about him maybe having a clause in his contract, which I keep thinking is ridiculous. A club of the stature like Arsenal putting in a clause in any kind of player's contract, especially at the waning tail end of their career, seems idiotic. But he still, I will give it to him. He had a couple of good games. Out of the last 2 or 3, he did all right. But at a certain point, you start to wonder, what is it that is he doing it in practice? Is he just wowing and dominating practices so much, and then he gets to the game?
This is a favorite topic of mine, because there's so everywhere. All of a sudden, the newest thing for Arsenal Twitter and narrative is about the contract appearance thing. Pablo Mari's got a thing.
$1 million.
Okay. Let me just tell you something, because I tweeted about this a couple of days ago, because I got my hands on the Arsenal financial reports. I read it. I understand it because I got a good education at the University of Virginia.
Yes.
And yeah, and in business, and it actually addressed this fact. But the narrative are always about appearance clauses. Ozil. All right. So here are all the rumors. Ozil only was being paid $250 a week instead of $350 a week if he didn't play, and so we were trying to save $100,000 a week. That's possible. Mari gets £1 million every time he plays 10 Premier League games. That's probable.
Is it to Mari, or was it part of the
club
or
to Flamengo or whoever?
Yeah.
But that's perfectly possible. But the thing that I discovered from looking at the financial reports yesterday is, first of all, if that is the case, and I know we're getting kind of off the beaten path here, but if that's the case, once it becomes likely that is about to be hit, they book it in their finances anyway. So it isn't like, I mean, and they played him eventually anyway. So the thing that they didn't want to play him for 5 games, he wasn't hurt. They just didn't want to pay the £1 million.
That was odd, though.
That's ridiculous.
I understand, but it's like what Colin said then, right? I can't judge Arteta, right? I'm in no position to judge Arteta whether he's going to go on to be a great manager.
Yes, you are, because you're on a podcast. You've instantly elevated to being able to judge Arteta, because that's what podcasters do.
To me, though, right, he's still in the beginning steps of his managerial career. And you take that at such a club like Arsenal, which has the following that we do, the fans that we do, that is so talked about and critiqued over and over. Sometimes you and I talk about small stuff over here in America, and it's minuscule compared to the amount of press, everything that goes on with Arsenal. And so, is the job too much for Arteta? I don't want to decide that, but right now, what I would just like for him to come out and just say, what is the reason? Why? Tell us all. Why are you playing Willian over Martinelli? Why is Martinelli not getting a chance? Just be open with us, and you don't have to divulge some strategy or something. Hey, we're keeping him, rested for the last stretch, or he was hurt. We don't want him, to get kicked or whatever. Just come out and tell us.
Colin, does he owe that to us? Does he owe that to us? That's a good point. Does he owe that to us, or does that negatively impact his ability to manage?
No. I don't think he does, because ultimately Arteta's the one that oversees it in training.
I picked on the guy with the worst internet.
Base of it. But as far as why Willian gets picked, do you know what? It has to be the agent, because
you think
me personally,
Is that still happening?
That would piss me right off if that's why.
Yeah. Because Sinelli's gone. So who does Draption still have the freaking control on this club that we think he does? Is that what you're saying? An agent is pretty much pulling the strings.
Yes, because ultimately, right, you have to look at it. Who's Kia got at this club? Cedric, Willian. Like, there's so many players at this club who have Kia as an agent, and yet the thing is with Kia, it goes back to what he did at Inter Milan. João Mario wasn't getting picked under Spalletti, I think it was, and no, it wasn't. I forget the guy who it was, but ultimately, João Mario wasn't getting picked. Right? What happened? The manager at the time got sacked because of that, because Kia was on the phone to the Inter director, was like, any chance you can put João Mario on the team, bro? And the manager's like, nah, we ain't having that. What happened? The manager got sacked.
Colin, but what is Kia going to bring to our club that we need to appease them so much for? Because you look at Luis, Cedric, Willian, are they really pivotal players for our club? Do we they're need
not.
them?
No, they're not.
Well, I mean, I feel like we can do away with them and say, screw you, Kia. You're going to go on and go, to some auto dealership or whatever, like Mike likes to refer to him as a car. I don't see why he's so influential on our club, because he doesn't seem to have brought in like the type of player that has really revolutionized, galvanized us, and changed us over the last 10 years. So why the hell are we bending over for him?
I'll tell you why, because there's players at that board, right? And I'm not talking like, the likes of Stan and Josh and whatnot, right? But let's not forget, there are people in this club that are self-serving. Until we get rid of them, the same issues are going to persist. Well, it's not a player issue. It's not a manager issue. It's a board issue, because there are people in this club that are self-serving that will not put the effort in to spend that.
Colin, I'm going to put you to the fire on that, and I'm going to bring in Dave. The board at this point, after some changes that were made in the summer, the late summer of 2020, the board is Enos, Josh, Tim Lewis, and I believe Lord Harris of Peckham is still involved. And I've learned last night that Peckham is not as nice as it sounds, but it's getting nicer. That's the board at this point. No longer are there, no longer is God, who's the guy that Smudges stayed at his house the night? No longer, I'm completely forgetting the names of these guys, but Keswick is gone, thank God. I can't. I don't know why I'm not remembering the guy who is like literally the Arsenal way, who just retired from the board last year. Someone in the chat. What?
Chips Keswick, was it?
No, not Keswick. No, Keswick.
Somebody said a Fryer, right?
Ken Fryer. Ken Fryer, the actual Arsenal way, Ken Fryer. I mean, the board, the board used to have what's her name on it, and a couple other people on it, and the board is now basically 4 people, 2 of whom are Josh and Stan. The one who gave Kia free reign over this club was the one who the gerbil got rid of. And he's gone now. So I think that, frankly, Kia's while Edu is still friends with Kia, I don't think that dynamic exists anymore. And I think one more transfer window and it's completely flushed out.
Well, he's still Mike. That's irrelevant because he's still a problem. Ultimately,
I don't think he's our problem anymore.
Ultimately, until you flush out these players, right, who are on his books, the likes of Cedric, the likes of Willian, you're not going to get rid of him. It's as simple as that.
Well, I think we're closer to getting rid of him than necessary than you might, but we'll see. So Dave, where do we go from here? I mean, we could have gotten to 9th today, and we didn't. So we're still in 10th. I mean, like, you know, options of getting in that top half of the table are now gone. Where do you see our finish this season? I mean, 4th was 10 points away. 6th was 9 points away. Now, after this weekend's done and all the other games have been played, it'll probably be 12 and 11 points away. Dave, any chance of Europe through the Premier League, or is it all about Europa?
Look, today even compounds it again. We've only got 1 point from 6 against Burnley. How do you not beat Burnley at least one time in the season? But I'd say 9 or 10th, I suppose, being realistic. My optimistic in my heart wants to tell me we can finish higher, maybe a 7th or a 6th maybe, but I just don't see it. Today, we really needed to win today, because you look at our next 3 fixtures alone, where we've the North London Derby next week, we have West Ham, and we'll have Liverpool after that. So realistically, what are we going to get out of those games if we didn't beat them?
The irony is that we're playing teams in front of us. So, like, if we ran into a good patch of form and felt comfortable, as I thought that we had after the Leicester game. I mean, today being the outlier, if we finally actually felt like we deserved to win these games and would put forth the effort, that's how you do grab a 5th or a 4th place cheeky finish in this season. Because all of a sudden you're not only winning games, but you're stopping the teams in front of you from getting points. Which is why I've had this ridiculous faith that we could still possibly get up into Europe through the league channel. When you drop 2 points against Burnley, that's not how you do it, though. You cannot drop points to teams underneath you.
But where I was looking, Mike, as well, is I don't look at 9th, 8th, 7th, 6th, and 5th. I look at who's in 4th and who's potentially in 3rd. Whatever is in between that is irrelevant, I think, at this stage. But look, maybe stupidly, I was hoping if we won today, you never know. We might. I can't really turn off my optimism a small bit, where I kind of don't say we're definitely not going to get top 4. I still have that small bit of hope, stupidly enough. But look, it's the hope that kills, as they say. But
I mean, the treble is literally still on at this point.
Literally.
Yeah. Literally.
We could get relegated and win the Europa League.
We could win the Europa League, get relegated. We could win the Emirates Cup next season and the Audi Cup. And I mean, how many trophies is that?
It looks like we're targeting the Emirates Cup, because Arteta seems
we haven't even won that in 10 years.
He's keeping Martinelli fit for the Emirates Cup, so it looks like he's really targeting that.
He'll be raring to go for that. So
it'll be
what is it
chaos,
at this point?
Yeah, look, I'd like to see a good result Thursday. Maybe go out with a strong team, and I think if we win Thursday, surely we won't have the last year's fiasco again. I think we'll have enough to get the job done once we get a good result on Thursday. And then, look, you're into, is it the quarterfinals then after that? Look, you're not too far away then. You might get, if you get another Premier League team or whatever, and then maybe take out one of the bigger hitters at the same time. You never know. Look, we seem to be a better cup team. I know, take the FA Cup out of, granted the FA Cup, like we went out early, but
can't win it every single year, you know. I mean,
no, and even though as much as we like it, but no, I think get a good result Thursday, go from there, and then look, if we got 7 from 9 points now, look, hypothetically from the next 3 games, you never know where you might be in the league, you know. So, but then you're kind of going to a question. Then we have to prioritize both. Then I don't think we've the squad to prioritize both at the same time. So.
Well, and I just appreciate you like kind of consolidating things, because Thursday, you've taken the H out of it. So it's Thursday now, and that makes it much easier to say for me, and I appreciate that, Dave. I really do.
Oh, no.
Dave, all right, so we're going to go around the horn, and this is going to be the end of the podcast. And I know this is kind of like lazy podcasting, but that's the kind of guy I am. After this performance, with 12 games left, maybe odd 12, 11, 13, maybe in the Premier League and what we have in the Europa League. Where do you see us finishing in the Europa League, and where do you see us finishing in the league? Dave, we'll start with you, and then we'll go around the horn.
9th in the league and quarterfinals of Europa League.
So we get past them, and then we lose to Young Boys? Is that what you're saying?
That's controversial. You can't be saying that.
No, yeah, I've gotten a lot of trouble for talking about Young Boys, but
it's just as well we didn't draw them for the next round.
Yeah, or FC Clunge or whatever their name is. But all right, so Dave, you're basically saying then we're out of Europe next season.
Unfortunately, yeah. I suppose you're kind of after hitting me hard there when I think about it now. Europe next season.
Like Arteta said twice in his post-game comments today, which is a whole other topic. It is what it is.
That's the best way of putting it, I think.
Yeah.
But,
right.
Yeah, look, it depends. I think if we got United or Spurs, it would kind of keep the Europa League interesting maybe a little bit. But, I think 9th in the quarterfinals.
That is a devastating season, I'll tell you that.
It's not ideal, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. But, Drago, what are you thinking for our final output for this season?
I think we can get 8th in the league, like last season. In terms of the Europa, maybe semis. This competition is cursed for us, I feel. We lost on penalties to Galatasaray. We lost to Atletico, semi-finals, Wenger's final season. We lost to Chelsea, the Baku final. I don't have high hopes there. But on a positive note, I'm encouraged on how we play. I think we are building something for next season. Maybe we should focus on that. I said it for weeks that the league is a write-off. I know you and others believed it top 4, maybe top 6. I kept saying there's just too many teams above us. It's not about the points. Too many teams need to drop, and we need to capitalize. And you can see that we can't really capitalize for numerous reasons.
Fair enough. I mean, and so your expectations on the Europa League? Did I miss
Semi.
that? Semi. So you've got a semi, is basically what you're telling us. Okay, Colin. Are we finishing 15th and we're losing against Olympiacos? Is that what you're here to tell us?
No. No, it's never going to be that bad, mate. I'm with Drago on 8th. I really think that we can get there. So it's more or less the same as last year. Second in, but you deal with it. And as far as the Europa League goes, I don't know why, but I've got this strange feeling that we might go all the way. I don't know why. It really depends on how the draw works out, because European competitions and how far you go, often it's down to luck. So if we get a favourable draw, we could go all the way, but I can also see us getting knocked out in the semis or getting to the final and then flopping like we did last time. So it could go either way, but I'm remaining optimistic. 8 and a Europa League, and we get Champions League for next season via that window. So yeah.
I mean, who are the teams left? I mean, the teams left in the Europa League, other than the 2 other Premier League teams, Milan, who's going
in there.
Milan's in there. Villarreal's always up for a shot as long as Unai Emery's in charge of a Europa League team.
Oh God!
But they're on a rough patch.
Villarreal final. Oh,
they're on the rough patch in La Liga. But beyond that, I mean, are there too many good teams that are any better than Benfica or Olympiacos? And I mean,
with it as well, Mike, it's Man United and AC Milan as well. So you have a good team gone there as well.
Right. So I mean, I think if we get through to the quarterfinals, there's maybe 3 teams out of the 8 that can win it, and we're one of them. So, why not give it a shot? HooGooner, awesome that you joined us today. As far as I know, debut podcast appearance.
Honestly, yeah.
And it's you're the only one of the 6 of us that have been on the pod today that I can't say I've seen on a podcast before. So it's great.
I've watched all you guys, and you guys are all great. I really appreciate me. Appreciate you guys giving me the chance to come on and chat with you all. It's been great. And I have to say this. One of my theories has always been that Arsenal play better when the weather is better. When the weather tends to warm up, or when the weather seems nice, I swear we seem to play better. So I'm not saying we're gonna get.
So Arsenal should put the Emirates in a dome.
Yes,
with plants and like beautiful weather. I mean,
yes.
I think we would
Kroenke be just to dome up the Emirates. Spend a little of his cash. But to be honest, and another ironic thing is I'm part Greek, so my family all supports Olympiacos, and when we lost last year, it was hell, and now we're up against them again this year, and it's going to be painful again. So this is kind of like brutal for me to have to go through again, especially being that it's like our only hope this year, and we really want to hold on. I think the longer we can stay in the tournament, it'll give the team, it'll galvanize us a little bit to give us a little more to play for. And you thought that after recent performances, we'd build and we consistently, start to find a form, but we keep hitting these road bumps. They keep throwing us off. And, do I think? Yeah, I think we can get by Olympiacos. I'm not too sure after that. I guess it depends on the draw. We really need luck. We need luck more than ever this season to have a couple things work out for us. I see us, a top 10 finish, maybe. I don't know about.
I'm shocked at how. I mean, I know we're 10th now, 9th or 10th. I guess it depends on games in hand, and I'm shocked that more people aren't thinking that we're going to pick up spots in the league position. I look at the teams in front of us. It's more because I look at the teams in front of us: Villa, West Ham, Leicester, and I see those teams losing points. Like today didn't help us, but I'm shocked that people think we're going to be 8th or 9th. I think we're going to be 6th or 7th at worst.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and that isn't me being like optimistic and saying, "Oh, I hope we can get 6th." I don't see how we don't end up 6th or 7th in this league the way that everything's shaking out.
But
we're not going to. Our run in is not super hard. I mean, like
didn't we say that a couple seasons ago with Emery though?
Yes, but that was a different. That was a different story. We were mentally completely off kilter. If he can keep the team at least like if we can keep it to individual mistakes rather than like rebellion, then I don't see how we don't finish this Premier League season off.
But it's still a lot of the same players, though. It's still
I know it is. I know.
And that's what stinks. Like Colin said, the quality and just the mental frailties that we have. That just continually it's schoolboy errors sometimes, and it's like, what the hell are we watching here? I'm not watching a high school team playing. I'm not watching a college team in America playing. You're watching professionals that are supposed to be at the top of their level make the same mistakes over and over again. It just wears on you. It just breaks you down sometimes as an Arsenal supporter, and it's hard. But I still have hope. I never give up. I will never give up. I'll always love them, and I'll always want us to win every game. I'm never one of those supporters that's like, hey, let's lose this so Stan Kroenke can, hurt his wallet or whatever. I'm never one of those guys because deep down, I love to see us win. But the owners need to. We're here in America. We see the kind of money they dump into the Rams and stuff. And I know we've never been that club, but at some point, especially this season, Harry put out the podcast about the 6 or so deals they're working on for this summer. And how, we're supposed to bring in a couple players here or there. That would be nice if we could move a few out and bring a couple in and give us some hope. But it just seems like every year, it's the same thing unless we get rid of that core that has been letting us down all this time.
Well, I think that's a good way to end this off. Frankly, because I've asked the question, I'm going to answer it myself. I think we finished 7th. With a chance of finishing 6th. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but I think we finished 6th or 7th, and I think we make it to the FA Cup quarterfinals. Or not the FA Cup, the Europa League quarterfinals. There's no reason we shouldn't win it, but I just think the odds are against us. So with that said, I think we're gonna wrap things up. Thank you for the therapy session. Thanks. It's always nice to talk to faces that I wouldn't normally talk to after a game, and Dave and HooGooner and Colin and Drago. It's good to see you guys in here. And you know what? Thursday's really where it's what it's all about. So let's root for a win there. And my God, I got to take a piss right now. So we're gonna end this. Come on, you Gooners.
Come on, you.